Game started.
Endspiel. Okay, Endspiel starts out with F4, the bird opening. Well, maybe I'll play the gambit line, the from gambit. Haven't played that in a while. Always entertaining. Oh, he doesn't take. Yeah, it's probably a reasonable way to play. He's delaying this exchange here. He doesn't have to take. Go there. So now I can take, right? I've gotten my pawn back. He has an open F file. I guess white. I guess white is happy here because he got the open F file. And if he kicks my bishop, I probably have to exchange. But let's develop on the king side a bit. Maybe I want to castle. Well, that's a very quiet kind of setup. I would have expected d4 in that position to try and bust up the center. So is this okay, really? I mean, if he plays d4 and I take, he can push on with d5. I guess I have it covered. I have a bishop and a knight on that square. Let's castle. Aha. Okay, so all the pieces are still on the board. Let's see. If I move my rook off the F file, he maybe has some ideas of attack along here. I mean, it's nice to keep that F pawn defended, but if I move my knight away from defending the E pawn, then maybe he has the D4 push. I always have this check here. I could play the check now. Push, takes, takes, and then he's kind of threatening. He is threatening to push forward here. Yeah, I don't think this is such an easy position to play. I'm going to play h6 with the idea of rerouting this knight here. Okay, he's going to try and kick my knight maybe. I don't want to move it just yet, so I will temporarily suspend that. Okay, if he takes my bishop, I'm all right with that. He's not yet threatening to take the pawn. So I'm going to go on with my plan this was this h6 idea. That was the plan, was to reroute the knight. Is that any good? His bishop is on that square. Okay, I wanted to take with the pawn and short my center. Also, the knight on f6 is a target on the open f file, so the knight is not too happy there. Maybe I can play f5. If I can get an f5, kind of equalize on the f file there. Okay, he kicks it. I believe I could retreat, I guess, but I think it might be wiser to exchange here. Okay, he took with the bishop. A bit surprising. So now, if I play f4, he takes, I can take. So, I mean f5. So f5 is definitely a move here. And his bishop is going to be hitting my knight, but that's seemingly defended. Oh, there is a problem here. Well, I spotted this before I moved at least. After rook takes f5, he has bishop here check. Kind of an annoying move. And if I pause to move my king, is there any way to defend the check and defend the rook? Now the rook is just loose there. That's too bad. If I push the pawn forward and take with the bishop, I could push this pawn forward maybe. That would at least cover the d5 square so he doesn't have that check. But he can play g5 and defend his pawn that way, or move his bishop and defend the pawn. So I just lost a pawn there for no reason. I miscalculated that one. And he's giving it back to me. He could have saved his pawn, like I said, by playing g4 or by moving his bishop. Okay, I will take the pawn now. He still has that check. He didn't give the pawn back to me. Okay, let's see if I can round the pawn up with the knight. He turned it, instead of losing a whole rook, I would just be losing the exchange if I had played. Okay, now he defends the pawn. Okay, so he's pretty sharp here, looks like. Okay, so knight to knight to g5 now, hitting his bishop, and he can just take it with his other bishop. Okay, let's get my rook into the game, hit his weak c-pawn. There's also a weakness on this diagonal. The queen to b6 may be an idea. Okay, he defends and gets on this diagonal. So queen b6 now. I don't know if that accomplishes a whole lot. Well, let's see.
Check.
See how he reacts. I was thinking also I want to get a rook onto the d file now. I'm not so worried about the f file opening up with my pieces. I have the idea of knight to g5 now that he moved his bishop off that diagonal. Anyway, if he blocks with the pawn, I can push on with e4. That's one idea here. He did that. Oh, I thought this might be okay for me. Unless there is another tactic here I'm missing. This guy can be pinned, of course, but he doesn't have anything on the light squares right now to pin it. Okay, so the knight can go to g4, and from g4 it can go to g5. From g5 it can go to f3, but then it gets exchanged off. So knight g5, and he plays h4, kicking it. Where does the knight go? Maybe back to f2. Still, the knight's not doing anything on on h7. I need to get it back in the game at some point. And even on f2 at least helps control this diagonal. Okay, how can I get the other knight in the game? If I were to double on the f file, oh, that's weird. He pre-moved rook to g1. That might have been a mouse slip of some kind. I mean, not that it's a blunder, but it's kind of a funny looking move. And why would you pre-move that? I might have made a threat of some kind. Knight here is still not a problem. But he is, okay, he's getting off the g file, so there's no tactics there. Okay, but still, let's go this way. No tactics on the f file. I was thinking I could play knight to g6 in some cases, taking advantage of this maybe a potential pin on the f file, but there's nothing pinned there. Okay, so now he just moved his bishop back, and I don't have anything great here. Let's maneuver the knights around and see if I can find better employment for the knights. The knight could come to d6. Yeah, he's going to push forward here. Very, very shaky looking position for me. But maybe queen to d6 is better than knight to d6. At least it's looking at some open squares around his king here. Okay, went back to the f file. I still can't play my knight here. How can I get these knights into the game? Yeah, I just don't have many squares. This is a real problem. If I play h5 as a sacrifice, let him take, then I can. It's not a sacrifice because I can take on. I can take on f5. That's the idea. If he takes on h5, I take on f5. And if he doesn't, I will take on g4 there and then take. Okay, that's maybe I guess I have to take it, but yeah, that's probably good for white. Because where is this rook going? Back here. Put some pressure on the c-pawn again. But he's got these pawns are very dangerous near my king here. There may be mating ideas coming up shortly. And he could have just grabbed... He could have just grabbed that h-pawn. Well, it still gives up the f-pawn, so I guess we still have that same issue, that he takes the h-pawn, I take the f-pawn. Now, if he takes with a bishop and I take with a knight, it's a bit of a pin, but I think I have time to unpin. Do I? He's just making my pieces, running my pieces out of squares. Okay, let's, if I take that, and his bishop will skewer these guys. Okay. If I go here, or here perhaps, so that I can take it. The knight can unpin with check in some cases. So knight here, bishop here, knight here, check. King up defends the bishop. Yeah, so that doesn't work. Aha, but he's not reacting to any of these ideas. Well, he's going to try and take my knight, take my rook, I guess. Let's see. So knight here now. Does it really threaten anything? And he pushes. I could give up the exchange for a pawn. And I've won a pawn over here. Maybe I will do that. I'm in a bit of trouble here and I need to do something. Something to get out of trouble. So if he pushes on with a5, I'm going to play rook takes b5, bishop takes, queen takes, and I've got a knight, a rook, and a queen against a queen and two rooks, but I have some extra pawns, and my pawns are near his king. So it might be worth something. And we will see in the postmortem if this was a valid exchange sec anyway. I'd probably just worse the whole game. And but now there's check and take here. No, that's still defended adequately. But it's an idea. I have the rook and the queen converging on the f1 square. And I have a knight that can move with check to either this square or this square. You know what he can do? He can put pressure on the knight. With queen to f2. And I guess he can't take the knight right away, but it makes it a bit awkward for me. I can't move the knight because he will take here, and that's mate. Okay, so this buys me a little bit of time. Where do I want the queen to go? Some place where I can go over to the king's side and also defend the knight. So maybe this square. I can come all the way to g6 to h5 maybe. Ah, he's got that. That's true. Didn't consider that. So that's good. Let's drop back just a little bit here. Interesting position. I'm a little low on time. Can push the pawn attacking his queen. I can play queen to g3 check, not with his knight there. But I can push the pawn attacking his queen. How does he defend the rook? Hey, the rook was defended by the queen. So I think that was a mistake. Let's see. Okay, so he goes for the counterattack, but this attack should be too strong at this point. I'm just breaking through. Yeah, he can win a pawn. I can take here with check. Queen takes, pawn takes, and I'll just be a piece up. That's simple, but maybe even stronger is this check.
Check.
Maybe I can actually mate him here pretty quickly. I mean, I have the rook, the knight, and these pawns here. And he doesn't even have a good way to give a check to my king. I can check here. This is threatening checkmate, and it's threatening his queen. Knight to g3 is checkmate because the king has no squares, so he has to take. And now I've got this great advanced pawn, so knight here is going to protect the queening squares. So I think that's pretty solid way to win, even in this amount of time I've got left. Okay, yeah, so knight here with check. King attacks the knight. Queen.
Check.
Yeah, it wins another piece.
Check.
Because he has to take with the rook, and then I'm just a knight and a rook up, so this shouldn't be.
White resigns.
Yeah, white can resign anytime. Okay, I will upload this and do a postmortem.
Incoming
See you guys
challenge.
later. Bye.